So today is November 11th, 2020. I am 1 year post-op from my Interstim surgery, the phase 2, which is the permanent implant. I had the surgery on November 11th, 2019, so it's been a full year. Lots of stuff has happened. A lot of stuff. Trust me, a year ago when I had this surgery, I never would have imagined we'd be in the situation we are in today, and it's been weird. It's weird making this video and that I'm not blonde because I can't go get my hair done because of COVID. And the reason for that is because I have to travel across the country because my best friend is the only one who can touch my hair. So I'm not blonde and that sucks. But I can pee on my own. So we have that. So nothing has changed since my last update. Everything is good. No catheter. I haven't cathetered in over a year, which is nuts. I pee on my own. I pee well. I have no problems, no pain in that area. Nothing. There are some weird things, and people kind of ask about them because I'm going to actually answer a lot of Interstim questions I had asked to me. It didn't make sense, but I'm not going to re-record. I asked if anyone had questions because I get questions all the time, but this is a video where I'm going to just answer all those questions about Interstim for people who are preparing to get it, people who already have it but maybe aren't this far along in the journey as I am, or people who are just curious. So I'm going to just get right into answering the questions because that'll cover a lot of the stuff. As a reminder, I don't remember my passcode for my iPad. Okay, hold on. Got it. I have my iPad with the questions because I'm using my phone to record. As a reminder for everyone, because since I last made an update, or at least relatively near that time, is when the mini Interstim came out, the new one. I do not have that. I have Interstim 2, so I do not have the MRI compatible one. I'll talk about that, but I don't have it, which sucks. But okay, so I have a bunch of questions, so I'm kind of going to scroll through them because some of them will just make sense in certain orders, I guess. So question 1, did you have phase 1 done? Yes, I did. I did the trial. It was successful, which is why I moved forward with phase 2. I'm glad I did phase 1, did the trial, and didn't just jump right in because they didn't, on the first try, they didn't get the right side of my body. Not that, I guess it wouldn't have mattered, they would have figured it out, but I'm glad we did the trial because originally they were attempting to go more on the left side of my back. Didn't work, so they had to move to the right side of my back, which is ultimately where the device was implanted. But yes, I had phase 1 done. I did phase 1 for 2 weeks before I moved forward with phase 2. After phase 2, how long did I have to leave the Band-Aid on? My doctor told me 24 hours, and he told me I could take it off before I showered next. I had to wait at least 24 hours, but just to wait until I showered next. If you haven't seen my recovery videos from phase 2, I suggest you do that because I didn't take it off till 36 hours later, and that's because I was pretty well drugged because I had to go to an emergency room because the pain was out of this world. But so worth it. So worth it. I just want to stress that. It was so worth it. Okay, when did the pain subside? I'm trying to think. So I had it done November 11th in 2019. I know around Christmas time I was definitely more comfortable. For me, I think it took really until the stitches were out, which was somewhere around Thanksgiving, so about 2 weeks later. It took those coming out to really start feeling better. I narrowed down all my pain being around my incision itself, not the device, the incision. And that's because my doctor is phenomenal and he did a really good job making sure I was stitched up and that there would be no problems. So when did pain subside? I would say 1 month later, I was fully okay. Tips and tricks. I wasn't sure what this was referring to, but I believe it's the recovery process. My tips and tricks would be, 1, take the medicine when you're supposed to. Even if you feel like you're doing good, you would rather be prepared for what's going to happen than to allow it to happen. 2, definitely make sure that you do start moving. I think one of my issues was I was too hesitant to move, but when I actually did get up and try moving, I noticed I was feeling a lot better. So don't be afraid to get up and move. It does help with the pain. Another tip and trick I learned, with the pain I was experiencing from the incision, Neosporin wasn't really cutting it for me. I got this like Back Team Max. It's in one of my videos. That one worked really well. Also, because this one I still have, this Dermoplast, and this is just because of the incisions. Ladies, this may look familiar. This is the stuff for those who don't know. If you do have a natural childbirth, they give you this for your hoo-ha, so it doesn't hurt when you pee. At least that's what I thought it was for. I don't know. Saving grace when I was post-pregnancy, after I delivered my daughter, and post-op. It has lidocaine in it, so it kind of just numbed the area. I will say, though, it has a smell, and it can fill a room, so don't do it anywhere you plan to stay a while. But that stuff's good. You can get it at Walmart. Another thing, sleep with a pillow between your knees. Keep your hips even. It makes sleeping with Interstim, both during phase 1 and recovery of phase 2, much more bearable. Definitely sleep with a pillow between your legs and try to keep that even. It helps me so much. And I don't know what the difference is with the mini Interstim. I wish I did, but at least with mine, I had to wear that belt around my waist during phase 1, so that was kind of a pain, and I don't know. Sleep with a pillow between your legs. I still do. So, let's see. Where do you feel a tingle? And if you do, how bad is it? So, the tingle. Yes, that is a thing. It is not constant whatsoever. It pretty much depends on how I'm sitting and what kind of shoes I'm wearing to make it tingle. Where do I feel the tingle? In my bicycle seat area. I don't know. Down there in the bicycle seat region. I feel it. Yeah. I also, though, can feel it through my leg, going all the way down my right leg to my big toe. That again has to do with how I'm sitting. That causes it. It's never constant. It's definitely related to posture and that kind of stuff. If I wear like my thigh-high boots or my tall Uggs, it kind of like compresses my calf, which makes me feel the tingle. I don't know why, but it does. I still have not worn heels since my surgery. I'm still afraid to try because in one of my videos I did try, and that made the tingle super, super strong. So I probably should have tried for the sake of this video, but I didn't. Another time I feel a tingle, and this is also was a question, is stores. It's not often, but some stores do have their like detector things on a higher setting. And if you walk too close to it, it does kind of give you a little shock. It's not anything crazy, but you feel it in the bicycle seat area. It's just a little surprise. So because I never know what store is going to set it off like that, the tip trick I would give here is just walk dead center of that thing, like right through the middle. And I'm normally fine. And if it does do that thing, it's just for like half a second. And yeah, it's more just weird. I mean, the first time it happened, I like sat in the aisle. Sorry, I was sick recently. I sat in the aisle of the like home goods area of Walmart, not knowing what to do because it scared the crap out of me. I almost called Medtronic and was like, I think I just got fried, but I didn't. I was okay. I was asked for pictures of the scar development, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them in now. Yeah, so that's the scar. And where my device is, it does look really different now, which is, I don't know, it's weird. It's just weird, but it healed well. It did what it was supposed to do, but yeah, it just looks different. But it healed, so yay! The other question is my void levels. So post-residual void, for those not familiar with Interstim and just watching this out of curiosity, that is basically measuring how much is in my bladder after I pee. So I would go to the bathroom, and then they use this little sonogram type thing and see what's left in my bladder. Before Interstim, I was at about 420, 425 milliliters. Going off of my last appointment, I was only retaining 20 milliliters. So we are perfect. It is doing what it has to do. With that, I cannot believe I can say this, but I have not had a single infection. Not a urinary, not a bladder, not a kidney, nothing. Because I'm not retaining my urine. It's leaving my body. So I'm not getting infections, which is a part of why I had Interstim. That brings me to another question that at this time I am not comfortable sharing, which is, how did this happen? How did this happen to a young adult? We do have a theory as to why this happened to me. It's the only thing that makes sense, and maybe one day I will share it, but no, I was not born this way. I do not have obstructive urinary retention. My formal diagnosis is non-obstructive urinary retention, meaning there is nothing physically blocking urine from coming out of my body. It just, my brain doesn't do its job. So, yeah. What ails? It says, been having pain at the site that goes down the outside of my leg. Has that happened to me at all? Yes, that has happened to me before, where I'll feel it there and then goes all the way down my leg. It happens periodically. I often notice when I'm stretching, which it says that, you felt that you were overextending yourself. But yeah. Oh, wait, because, okay, I see what you're saying. So you upped your levels, to see if you can get more relief in between having to pee, and then the next morning you had pain. In regards to having pain after upping it, no, I've never had that, but have I felt it from the site down my leg? Yes, I have. In regards to upping it, one thing I have definitely learned in that perspective, and it says that you got it about a month ago, was it's working. I was constantly messing with it because I wasn't sure, okay, is it really working? Am I retaining? I was always paranoid. But then I eventually just left it alone. I've actually only made an adjustment to it once in the last 6 months. I just went one notch up to a 1.5. I believe I'm on a 1.5. I'm checking. But other than that, I just trust it's working. Now, if you start feeling like you are peeing too much, I would definitely at least get checked for an infection. But in regards to feeling it down the outside of my leg, yes, that does happen to me. To me, it's not necessarily pain, but maybe it's because I'm used to it. It's just uncomfortable. But if you are having the frequency and you're peeing every hour, well, it sounds like it was only for one night. I would still try to at least get a urine check done to make sure you don't have an infection, because that's something my doctor at least told me to watch for. If I'm noticing like an insane increase, I could have an infection. So then, pros and cons. And is it a battery type system? So that goes with the pros and cons. So the pro, I can pee. The con is it is a battery. It will die. That sounds a little dramatic, but it will die sometime in 3 to 5 years since it was placed. When that happens, which is another question, yes, I do have to have another surgery to replace it. The good news is there is a new Interstim, so when that time comes, I will be getting the new one put in, which is rechargeable and lasts longer, and it's MRI compatible. So there's a con of mine. It is not MRI compatible. What that means is I can have an MRI in my head, but not the rest of my body. I also can't go through the detectors at like an airport, and I really thought I would be able to give some insight and update regarding that, because I was supposed to in October go on vacation, but because of COVID I didn't, so I haven't had to get on an airplane. But I do have a legal card for when that time comes that says I can't go through that system. So that's a con, is I can't get an MRI or go through. I'm not as worried about the security thing. It's the MRI I find a con, because if I was in a car accident and I couldn't speak, they might get me an MRI and not know. So that is why I have a medical alert bracelet that says do not do an MRI on me, because I have Interstim. That's at least one quick alert. On my iPhone, on my medical ID, it gives more information that, okay, I have an Interstim device, you can do an MRI in my head, nothing else, and it lists the other words I'm not supposed to have done. It's also on my Apple Watch, my medical ID, so lots of places, and then it's always in my wallet. That's a situation. So I'm gonna sneeze. Bless me. Why can I never just be graceful in these videos? I just can't. So yes, it will have to be replaced one day. Yes, it will be another surgery. There's also situations where, let's say I fall hard, which let's be honest, we shouldn't rule out happening to me. I may need a revision surgery to make sure it's in the right spot again, because it is attached to my sacral nerve. So there should be a solid amount of scar tissue around it now, and I should not really be at risk of that, but that's always a risk. But when it is time to replace, I'm getting the new one that is MRI compatible, and I'm so excited. I love seeing the posts from people who do have that, and I'm so jealous. But I was actually going to wait to get that, but I ended up getting like back-to-back kidney infections, and we just couldn't wait anymore. Waiting wasn't an option. How has my life changed? I can sleep through the night. That's a huge deal. I used to wake up like 3 times just to pee. All the ways I'm ready for my life to change, I have not yet been able to truly experience because of COVID, like going to festivals, not having to leave a phenomenal spot because, I had to pee. Keeping in mind that I just constantly felt like I had to pee. I barely peed anything, but in my head, I was like, we gotta go. But I haven't been able to go to any festivals or concerts, so I haven't been able to have those experiences yet, but it's still just nice not having to go to the bathroom every single place I go. I don't want to visit every bathroom. I do anyways because I'm a mom. My kid seems to need to see every bathroom, but it's nice knowing that it's not a concern for me. Actually trick-or-treating with my daughter, I didn't have to be afraid this year that I was gonna need to pee and what was I gonna do. So that was good too, because I was able to get through that. So Interstim, I want to stress, is a good thing. It's been a very positive experience, and I am so thankful I got it done. And I am at a 1.5. This is my Medtronic remote. I have an iPhone, and this is a Galaxy. However, I call this my P phone. Get it? IP. Yeah. I actually want to bedazzle the case I have for it. That also houses my little thingy. I call it my P phone. So that's how I differentiate them. I guess that would be another con too. I have to carry all this around with me, just in case I need to turn it off or something. Yeah, it's kind of a lot. But I will take it. It means I can pee, so I will take it. Hopefully I'll do another update at some point, maybe before the end of the year. Just, I don't know, in case I get more questions. Because I keep getting questions and then I forget to answer them. So keep them coming. I'll answer them in comments, whatever. I'll do my best. But Interstim is a positive thing, and it is something that I would highly recommend to others. Also, that reminds me, and I'll post a comment once I figure it out, but on Grey's Anatomy, like an older episode, Dr. Karev definitely put an Interstim device into a kid. Not for the urinary purposes, for the bowel purpose, because it has other things, but he held it up and I was like, my dude, that's what's in my body. It's an older episode, but I'll find it. And